Two identical-looking salts sit side by side on a kitchen counter. One is quietly protecting your kidneys, keeping your blood pressure steady, and supporting the delicate mineral balance your body needs after 60. The other is silently wearing down those same organs, grain by grain, meal after meal, without a single visible warning. Can you tell them apart without a lab test? Most people can't. And that is exactly why so many seniors unknowingly damage their health with every sprinkle. After 60, our bodies handle salt completely differently than they did in our 30s or 40s. The kidneys lose a portion of their filtering power each year, blood vessels stiffen, and cells become less efficient at flushing out excess sodium. What was harmless at 40 can become dangerous at 70. That is why today we are going to walk through 8 salt types that research shows can harm aging kidneys, and then reveal 8 alternatives that actually support your health instead of sabotaging it. By the end, that pink Himalayan salt in your cupboard might not look so innocent anymore. Let's begin with the basics. Once you pass 60, your kidneys naturally slow down. Studies suggest that kidney filtration rate drops by roughly 1% each year after age 40. By the time you reach 70, you may have lost nearly a third of that capacity. This does not mean you are sick. It simply means your body needs gentler choices. Sodium is essential for nerve signals and muscle contractions, but too much forces your kidneys to work overtime. When they cannot keep up, sodium accumulates in your blood, pulling water with it. Blood volume rises, pressure climbs, and over time, this strain damages delicate kidney filters and stiffens artery walls. The type of salt you use matters just as much as the amount. Some salts carry hidden additives, heavy metals, or imbalanced mineral loads that compound the problem. Others are minimally processed and contain trace elements that actually help your body regulate fluid balance. So let's cut through the marketing hype and look at what science really says. First, let's talk about the 8 salts you should think twice about after 60. Standard table salt is often the first culprit. It is stripped of nearly all trace minerals during refining, then treated with anti-caking agents like sodium aluminosilicate or yellow prussiate of soda. These additives keep the grains flowing freely in humid air, but they introduce compounds your aging liver and kidneys must filter out. For a body already working hard to manage sodium, this extra chemical load is unnecessary stress. Some researchers have raised concerns about aluminum-based anti-caking agents accumulating over decades, though definitive long-term human studies are still emerging. What we do know is that the ultra-refined sodium chloride in table salt hits your bloodstream fast, spiking levels more sharply than less processed alternatives. Next comes sea salt, which might surprise you. Many people assume sea salt is automatically healthier, but that depends entirely on where and how it was harvested. Seas and oceans today contain microplastics, industrial pollutants, and heavy metals like lead or cadmium. When seawater evaporates to produce salt, those contaminants concentrate in the crystals. Testing has found detectable levels of microplastics in several commercial sea salt brands, and while the health impact of ingesting tiny plastic particles is still being studied, it is reasonable to minimize exposure when you can. If you love sea salt, look for certified clean sources and third-party testing. Otherwise, you may be seasoning your food with more than minerals. Himalayan pink salt is the trendy favorite, praised for its supposed purity and mineral richness. It does contain trace iron, which gives it that rosy hue, along with small amounts of calcium, magnesium, and potassium. However, independent lab analyses have also detected trace levels of lead, uranium, and other heavy metals in some samples. The amounts are typically below regulatory limits, but for seniors whose detox systems are slower, even low-level chronic exposure can add up. Moreover, Himalayan salt is still roughly 98% sodium chloride. The trace minerals are present in such tiny quantities that you would need to eat unsafe amounts of salt to get meaningful nutrition from them. In other words, it is not the health miracle it is marketed to be. Flavored salts and seasoning blends are another hidden risk. These products often combine salt with dried herbs, spices, and MSG or other flavor enhancers. While herbs themselves are healthy, many commercial blends add sugar, maltodextrin, or hydrolyzed vegetable protein to improve taste and shelf life. These ingredients can affect blood sugar and add extra sodium beyond what the label highlights. Seniors managing diabetes or prediabetes should be especially cautious. Always read the full ingredient list, not just the front label. If it lists more than salt and pure spices, it may not be the clean choice you think it is. Smoked salts and specialty finishing salts are popular in gourmet cooking, but they come with their own concerns. Smoking salt over wood can introduce polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, the same compounds found in charred meat that have been linked to cellular damage over time. While occasional use is unlikely to cause harm, making smoked salt your daily go-to adds an avoidable risk. Similarly, black lava salt and other colored salts may contain activated charcoal or volcanic ash, which can interfere with medication absorption if consumed regularly. If you take prescriptions for blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart conditions, these salts could reduce how much medicine your body actually absorbs. Softened water salt is a danger most people never consider. If your home uses a water softening system, sodium is often added to replace calcium and magnesium ions in hard water. Cooking with softened tap water means you are adding hidden sodium to every pot of soup, pasta, and rice. Over a day, this can contribute several hundred extra milligrams of sodium without you ever touching a salt shaker. For seniors on sodium-restricted diets, this invisible source can sabotage even the most careful meal planning. If possible, use unsoftened water for cooking, or install a reverse osmosis filter to remove the added sodium. Curing salts and brining salts, often used in home pickling or meat preservation, contains sodium nitrite or sodium nitrate along with regular salt. While these compounds prevent dangerous bacteria like botulism, they can convert into nitrosamines in the body under certain conditions, especially at high heat. Nitrosamines have been studied for their potential links to digestive issues and long-term cellular changes. Seniors who enjoy home-cured meats or pickles should be aware of this and consider limiting intake to occasional treats rather than weekly staples. There are safer preservation methods available, including vinegar-based brines without added nitrites. Finally, rock salts or unrefined mineral salts sold in bulk at health stores can be hit or miss. Without proper sourcing and testing, they may carry soil-borne contaminants, bacteria, or inconsistent mineral profiles. Just because something looks natural does not guarantee it is safe. If the packaging does not list testing certifications or provide clear sourcing information, it is better to skip it. Your kidneys deserve clean, predictable ingredients. Now here is the good news. You do not have to give up flavor or satisfaction. There are 8 salt alternatives that work with your aging body instead of against it. Let's start with potassium-enriched salt. These blends replace about half the sodium chloride with potassium chloride, cutting your sodium intake while boosting potassium, a mineral most seniors do not get enough of. Potassium helps counteract sodium's effects on blood pressure and supports heart rhythm. However, if you have kidney disease or take potassium-sparing diuretics, you must talk to your doctor first. For most healthy seniors, though, potassium-enriched salt is one of the simplest swaps you can make. It tastes nearly identical to regular salt, so your palate adjusts quickly. Celtic sea salt is another solid choice. Harvested using traditional methods from clean coastal waters in France, it retains more moisture and trace minerals than standard sea salt. Third-party testing consistently shows lower contaminant levels compared to mass-produced sea salts. Its slightly gray color comes from natural clay and algae, which some studies suggest may support gut health in small amounts. Use it sparingly, as it is still high in sodium, but its mineral balance and cleaner sourcing make it a better option for seniors who want a less processed product. Redmond real salt, mined from an ancient seabed in Utah, is naturally free from modern pollutants and contains over 60 trace minerals in their natural ratios. It has been tested for heavy metals and microplastics and consistently comes back clean. Its flavor is mild and slightly sweet, making it versatile for everyday cooking. Because it is unrefined, it delivers sodium more gradually than ultra-processed table salt, reducing sharp spikes in blood sodium levels. Many seniors report better tolerance and fewer instances of swelling or bloating after switching to this salt. Herb and spice blends without added salt are a fantastic way to reduce sodium while expanding your flavor palette. Mixtures of garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, turmeric, paprika, and dried herbs can season food beautifully without any salt at all. Turmeric, in particular, has been studied for its mild anti-inflammatory effects, which may benefit aging joints and circulation. Keep a few different blends on hand and rotate them to keep meals interesting. Your taste buds adapt within a couple of weeks, and you may find you enjoy food more when subtle flavors are not drowned out by salt. Lemon juice and vinegar are underrated salt substitutes. Their acidity brightens food in much the same way salt does, making flavors pop without adding sodium. A squeeze of fresh lemon over vegetables, fish, or salads can replace the need for a heavy hand with the shaker. Apple cider vinegar, red wine vinegar, and balsamic vinegar each bring unique depth to dishes. Vinegar also supports healthy blood sugar responses when consumed with meals, an added bonus for seniors managing glucose levels. Try drizzling it over roasted vegetables or mixing it into dressings. Nutritional yeast is a lesser-known gem. This deactivated yeast has a savory, slightly cheesy flavor and is packed with B vitamins including B12, which many seniors lack. Sprinkle it over popcorn, pasta, or soups for a satisfying umami kick without any sodium. It is especially helpful for those reducing dairy, as it mimics the richness of cheese. Because it is a whole food rather than a refined extract, your body processes it gently, and it adds protein and fiber to your diet as well. Seaweed flakes or dulse offer natural saltiness along with iodine, magnesium, and omega-3 precursors. Iodine is critical for thyroid health, and many seniors, especially those avoiding iodized salt, may not get enough. A small pinch of dulse or kelp flakes adds a briny, ocean-like flavor to soups, salads, or grain bowls. Start with tiny amounts, as the flavor is strong, and watch for interactions if you take thyroid medication. For most people, though, seaweed is a nutrient-dense, low-sodium way to enhance meals. Finally, homemade vegetable broth powder can replace salt in cooking. Blend dried mushrooms, tomatoes, celery, and herbs into a fine powder and store it in a jar. Use a teaspoon in place of salt when making soups, stews, or rice. This powder delivers complex flavor from real vegetables along with antioxidants and fiber. It is especially useful for seniors who find plain, low-sodium meals boring. The umami from mushrooms satisfies the same taste receptors that crave salt, tricking your brain into feeling fully satisfied. Let me share two quick stories. Margaret, a 74-year-old from Ohio, had been using pink Himalayan salt for years, believing it was the healthiest choice. During a routine checkup, her doctor noticed her blood pressure creeping up and her kidney function declining slightly. Her sodium intake from meals was moderate, but labs showed higher than expected levels. When her doctor asked about her salt, Margaret mentioned she used Himalayan salt generously, thinking it was harmless. She switched to a potassium-enriched blend and started using lemon juice more often. Within 3 months, her blood pressure stabilized and her kidney markers improved. She told her friends it felt like a small change that made a big difference. Then there is Robert, a 68-year-old who loved cooking and used smoked salt and flavored blends in nearly every dish. He started noticing persistent swelling in his ankles and fatigue that worsened through the day. His doctor reviewed his diet and realized the hidden sodium and additives in his salts were likely contributing. Robert eliminated the specialty salts and switched to Redmond real salt plus homemade herb blends. He also started cooking with unsoftened water. 2 months later, the swelling was gone, his energy returned, and his next kidney test showed improvement. He said he didn't miss the fancy salts at all once his palate adjusted. So what should you do starting today? First, take stock of what is in your kitchen. Read every label on your salt containers and seasoning blends. If you see anti-caking agents, MSG, or ingredients you cannot pronounce, consider replacing them. Second, talk to your doctor, especially if you take medications for your heart, kidneys, or blood pressure. Some salt alternatives, particularly potassium-based ones, can interact with prescriptions, so you need personalized advice. Third, start small. Swap one salt for a better option and give your taste buds 2 weeks to adjust. You will be surprised how quickly you stop missing the heavy saltiness. Fourth, experiment with acid, herbs, and umami-rich foods like mushrooms and nutritional yeast. These tools make low-sodium cooking delicious instead of bland. And finally, watch your overall sodium intake. Even the healthiest salt should be used in moderation. Aim for no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day if you are over 60 and managing blood pressure or kidney concerns. Remember, aging changes how your body works, but it does not mean you have to give up flavor or enjoyment. It simply means you need to be smarter and more intentional about what you put on your plate. The 8 salts we talked about avoiding are not evil, but they add unnecessary risks for a body that is already working hard. The 8 alternatives we covered support your kidneys, balance your minerals, and keep your meals satisfying without the hidden dangers. Your health is not about perfection. It is about making better choices one meal at a time. So tell me, which salt are you thinking about eliminating first, and which alternative are you excited to try? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this information helped you see your salt shaker in a new light, please share this video with someone who might benefit. Together, we can help more seniors make choices that protect their kidneys and keep them feeling strong. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.